Today we're going to be showing you how to install Boost Auto Parts tow mirrors onto your 07 or newer Toyota Tundra. Boost Auto Parts offers a wide range of tow mirrors, parts, and accessories for trucks and SUVs. Check us out at boostautoparts.com. This video is explicitly for those that did not originally have power fold and are upgrading to mirrors with power fold. If you purchased manual fold mirrors or power fold mirrors and originally had power fold, please reference a separate Boost Auto Parts video. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the door panel. We're going to start by removing this clip right over here. So we're just using a small flathead screwdriver, and that will remove. And remove this trim piece behind the door handle. Remove the window switch assembly. Unplug the window switch assembly. There's just this notch here on the side. You'll depress that notch and then it'll unpull. And remove this upper trim piece right here. Remove the felt down here in the door grab. And remove the Phillips head screw behind the door handle. Remove the one down behind the door grab. And remove the light down here at the corner. And then we'll just unplug the connector. Begin removing the clips holding the door panel on. We're just going to use a trim tool to do that. And then the door panel should just lift up and off. And remove the door handle levers. You're just going to slide it out the side and then the ball socket can be released. You can just remove the door panel and set it off to the side. And unplug the original mirror connector. There's just a little tab down here at the bottom. You'll depress that and then the connector can come unplugged. Just go ahead and remove the three 10mm nuts holding the mirror on. You want to make sure and support the mirror on the other side so that it doesn't fall. Remove the mirror. Mount up the mirrors. We're going to start by kind of guiding all our connectors in through here, and then we're just going to go ahead and mount it up. Now you will have a varying amount of connectors here depending on your options, but just again you want to make sure all those are pulled through so that way when the mirror sits up flush it doesn't crush any of the wires. So now we'll just go ahead and take our three 10mm nuts and replace those. Plug in the OEM connector. Take the lighting extension harness provided by Boost Auto Parts and go ahead and plug it in. There will be a varying amount of wires in here depending on the options you chose. Remove the speaker. We'll start by unplugging it. There's just a little latch right there. Depress that and unplug it. And then there's going to be four 10mm bolts holding the speaker on. We'll go ahead and remove those. And the speaker should just come right out. Start running our wires through the grommet right here. In this case, there was already a little bit of a hole on the other side of the grommet. Otherwise, you may need to poke a little bit of hole or unwrap the electrical tape. So just kind of guide the wires straight on down through, and then you can reach your hand in through the speaker hole and we'll pull all the slack out. And remove this grommet right here on the door. You could just use your hand and it'll just pull right out. So we'll do both the door side as well as the cab side. Run the wires from inside the door to outside the door, so we'll just go ahead and pull all the slack straight on over, making sure not to chafe any of the wires. Now we need to remove this trim piece. We'll start by unthreading this nut right here. You should just be able to use your hand. Release the trim clips and remove this piece. Unplug all these blue connectors by just depressing the latch on the side. This is just going to give us some more access with the door harness a little bit. And then for this yellow connector over here, you do not want to unplug it. That is for your airbags. So you want to leave that connected. What we're going to do is just slide it off the latch that it's sitting on just to give us a little bit more room to work with. So we'll just slide that yellow connector straight up off this latch. But this is just going to give us enough slack to get in there. And tape the wires to a coat hanger or any firm piece of metal. That way we can easily run it through the door boot. And run it through that door boot. Sometimes it helps if you kind of scrunch the door boot together a little bit. But again, we're just guiding it with that metal wire straight on through the boot. Now if you'd like, you can carefully untape the harness, or this side of the boot is actually in the cab, so it's actually okay to just poke a little bit of a hole through the boot. And then you see our wires came with it. And pull all the slack straight on through. Pass that wire into the cab of the vehicle and it will come out straight down a little plastic pipe right down over here. And we'll just pull the slack into the vehicle. Okay, and now you can see the process is the exact same for the passenger side, so we're not detailing exactly how to do that. Essentially, you want to get your wires into here. Now, the white wire is going to be tapped on the passenger side. So on the driver's side, you're going to want to run your white wire over to the passenger side. Now for the reverse light, that's going to be tapped over here on this passenger side. So you can see we've removed that same kick panel. And we're going to be removing this bottom white connector straight down here. So just depress the tab on it, and then you'll release the connector. And once we have that connector released, the wire we're going to be working with is going to be this blue wire straight up in the top left-hand corner, one over from the left. Now we're going to take the T-tab provided by Boost Auto Parts and place it onto the blue wire located in pin 3. So just place the wire into the jaw of the T-tab, fold it over until you feel it latch. If you need to, you can use some needle nose pliers. Now we'll go ahead and cut the excess wire from our white wires, so we'll cut those to length. And then we're going to strip the ends of both of those. And then we're going to place those into the fuse disconnect provided by Boost Auto Parts. So we'll take both white wires, place them both into the single butt connector. And then we'll go ahead and crimp it down. Now this is a heat shrink butt connector, so you just want to apply some heat. That way the butt connector shrinks down. Then we're going to take the disconnect and plug it into the T-tab, making sure the metal slides directly into the T-tab and that the disconnect slides all the way forward. Then we'll just go ahead and plug back in our original connector. Most applications have the running light plug and play, but if you have the blue wire, that means the running light is not plug and play in your application, so you will need to run it over to the driver's side. We've taped our blue wire for the passenger side over, and we're going to pull that blue wire straight on over to the driver's side to get it over onto the other side. As you can see here, we're pulling that blue wire through, just running it straight behind the dash. Now located on the driver's side up under the dash, you'll see this little fuse box right here. You'll want to go ahead and remove this fuse box cover. There's just a latch on the front side, and then you should be able to remove it. Most vehicles will not have the blue wire in the secondary connector. However, if yours does, please locate the tail fuse in your fuse box and go ahead and remove it. Now you can see we have both blue wires right over here on the driver's side. We're going to go ahead and cut off the excess length, and then we're going to go ahead and strip off the insulation on both these blue wires. Now we're going to be placing both wires together and placing them in the mini fuse tab. So we'll twist both wires together, put both wires into the butt connector, and we'll go ahead and crimp it down. The original fuse that was in your fuse box needs to be placed into the lower slot on the fuse tab. Some Tundra vehicles utilize a low profile fuse which will not fit into our fuse tab. If this is the case, you will need to get the same size mini fuse from your local auto parts store that is not a low profile and place it in the lower slot on the fuse tab. Otherwise, the original circuitry will not work on your vehicle. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take the fuse tab and plug it back into the original location of the tail fuse. So that should just kind of slide up just like so. Now for the DIY upgrade kit, we're going to need to remove this trim piece. So we're going to remove these two 10mm bolts. And lower this trim plate. There's just a couple of body clips holding it on. You don't need to totally remove it, you can just kind of hang it. Now for the DIY upgrade, we're going to be putting that switch right over here. So we need to remove the dummy plate. In that case, you're just going to squeeze the little pins on the top and the bottom, and that will be removed. Pop the switch provided by Boost Auto Parts into the plate. Now we're going to take the harness provided by Boost Auto Parts, plug the green connector into the switch. And now that we've routed the wires straight on down, we'll go ahead and clip in these top trim clips over here. So we'll do the one side, and then we'll come over and we'll do the other side right up over here. Place the two 10mm bolts. Locate the fuse labeled accessory or ECU accessory and remove it. Now for the Powerfold DIY upgrade kit, we'll go ahead and cut the red wire to length. This is going to be going to the fuse box as well. We'll go ahead and strip that off. And then we'll go ahead and place that into the butt connector on the fuse tab. And we'll go ahead and crimp that down. The original fuse that was in your fuse box needs to be placed into the lower slot on the fuse tab. Some Tundra vehicles utilize a low profile fuse which will not fit into our fuse tab. If this is the case, you will need to get the same size mini fuse from your local auto parts store that is not a low profile and place it in the lower slot on the fuse tab, otherwise the original circuitry will not work on your vehicle. Now with this red Powerfold wire, we're going to go ahead and place that into the original location of the accessory fuse. So we'll just kind of push that straight up into place. Around this one wire here, we have this on the driver kick panel. We're just going to go ahead and cut it to length and then we're going to strip it back. So we'll cut that to length, strip a little bit of insulation off. This is again the black wire. Then we're going to place it into the eyelet provided by Boost Auto Parts. And we'll go ahead and crimp it down. Move this 10mm bolt straight over here and put the eyelet provided by Boost Auto Parts. You want to make sure you get any original eyelets that were grounded right there, and just go ahead and put it all back up and tighten it up. You can see we have two different lengths of wires here. The shorter side's going to run towards the driver's side and the longer side's going to run towards the passenger side. Now we're going to take our DIY upgrade wires and we're going to be running in the inverse direction, so we're going to go ahead and run those straight up so we can grab them on the other side. Pull all the slack straight on through. Fish that all back on through. You can see we taped it again to a straightened out coat hanger. We're just pulling all that slack straight on through the door boot. Run it through the door here, pull it through the speaker hole. Then we're just going to go ahead and replace the door grommets. We'll just go ahead and those will just kind of push right back into place. Run this wire straight up through this grommet over here. Place the grommet right back up into place. And plug the harness into the mirror. Any excess wire you'll just kind of tuck straight on out of the way, making sure it's all clear of the window regulator. Now using the same coat hanger method, we're going to go ahead and pull the passenger Powerfold wire straight on over under the dash. Plug back in any connectors we unplugged. This should just latch right back into place. And then we'll put this yellow connector right back down on its guide. Put this trim piece back in right down over here. Just kind of line it all up. There's a couple body trim clips as well as a little nut in the front that holds it on. Replace the one little knob holding the trim piece on. Replace the speaker. We'll start by just plugging that in. And then aligning the speaker and replacing the 4 10mm bolts. And bring the door panel back up into place, pulling the light wire through the bottom there. Replace the door lock levers. The white one's going to go on the top and just snap right into the side, right like that. And we'll go ahead and just hook the ball socket and bring the green one around as well. And start by latching the top of the door panel over the windowsill area, and then you clip back in all of the body trim clips all the way around the door panel. Put this little trim clip back into place up here. Replace the 2 Phillips head screws that are holding it together. The stainless one goes up behind the door handle. Plug back in the door switch, as well as snap it straight down into place. Snap this triangle trim piece back into place. Put the trim cover right back behind the door handle. Plug back in the little corner light on the door and clip it back up into place. And just like that, your installation is complete. To get all the parts and accessories shown in this video, as well as other parts and accessories for your truck or SUV, check us out at boostautoparts.com.